long-term rates will have absolutely zero. In fact, I will say that rates will have a negative effect on the marketplace. I realize people right here are gonna be like, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. One of our guys yesterday at the meeting's like, if everybody's talking about rates, doesn't affect the market. Short term, yeah, for the next 3 to 6 weeks, it's gonna affect the marketplace. But long-term, guys, rates are here. This is it. This is where they're gonna be. This is Laricy Live, and I'm your host, Matt Laricy, giving you unfiltered access to the world of real estate. We cover market trends, news, and give you the honest answers that will keep you ahead of the real estate game. Okay, so today we are talking about the summer shift. There's a lot of different things happening in the marketplace. This is being shot in the mid-ish to end of April-ish. We'll just give a date here, which they don't like me doing, but just so we're on the same page, it's about April 19th or 20th. No, today's the 20th. Today's 420 for people out there. And we're going to talk about the summer shift because things are starting to change. And we're going to talk about some of that today. So first thing that we have here is, did the spring market already peak? I think we're peaked as we speak. I think right now we went up to the peak and we're peaking. And in the next week or two, we're going to start kind of slowly but surely changing into the summer market. And because we're in what I would consider the absolute highest part of the peak, I wanted to start talking about the looming summer shift that's going to happen. So we have it on record of how the market's going to change. What are you seeing in the market right now? I'm seeing things start to change. I'm seeing a lot of people bring up rates. People are complaining about rates. Guys, American average interest rate, 7%. So these rates are only going to keep going up, getting below 3%, getting below 4%. That hasn't happened before. We're starting to see buyers bitch about inspection items. We're starting to see buyers kind of hesitate at making offers. I'm not saying that's happening across the board. I'm just saying we're starting to see it a little bit. And when that happens, you can kind of smell it there. It means the shift is going to be coming. Now, we're probably about 60 days away from a true shift in the marketplace. And I'm already hearing buyers, agents tell me, well, it's a different market, which we said in January, which we could play the clip if we ever find it, about how wait till the end of April, beginning of May happen, and you're going to start hearing that and seeing that firsthand. What are we talking about the summer market during spring? Why are we talking about summer market during spring? Because I think it's important to look ahead. So when people ask like, well, how did we know the market? Or my buddy told me this, et cetera. It's like, well, how did your buddy know? And when did he find out? What we're doing is we talk about things before they happen months ahead of time. So that when somebody says, well, like nobody can actually predict the market or talk about the market, we're like, well, I don't know. Well, go look back and look at one of our videos and you can see that we said this would happen. I mean, this isn't rocket science, guys. It's almost like a Groundhog Day cycle that happens every single year. And every single year, April is our worst month for deals dying because you have a lot of renters that are kind of posing as buyers, and you have a lot of people that start to get a little bit more dramatic. And the reason they do that is because we hit the shift in the marketplace because we've peaked, and you could slowly but surely see things going to start to change in the marketplace. What will happen to sales when the market shifts? They'll go down a little bit. I don't think we're going to, people have to realize like the summer shift isn't a market where all of a sudden things just like plummet. It just means that not everything sells in one day on the market and people just do like crazy, stupid high bids, okay? That's the main thing to kind of know. It's not like prices are gonna plummet. Don't get dramatic about it. Let's not be a knee-jerk reaction. We just have to know that not everything's gonna sell 4 hours on the market. Not everything's gonna sell before it hits the market. I mean, average market time still, when we did our Q1, is around 90 days, but there's certain types of properties that are just like flying off the market and like literally, I mean, we put a property on the market yesterday at like 9 a.m. and by 12, we already had 2 offers. Now, I mean, that's unheard of. That just doesn't make sense. Are you seeing more deals die? Yeah. I mean, in the past 10 days, I've lost more deals than I've lost in an entire year. I probably lost more deals in the last 10 days than most people close in a year. Not sound like a jerk, but it's just true. And we lost over 20 deals. And why? Well, it's because we have renters posing as buyers. People are getting a little bit of cold feet. People are getting a little obnoxious. People saw their rents or their rates tick up a little bit and they panicked. We just have people getting like, just obnoxious with inspection items, or they're making a bigger deal out of counter docs than they normally should. And that all happens in the mid to end of April. And I say there's 2 times when we lose a ton of deals. One of them's in April, one of them's in August. Those are 2 months I just see a ton of deals. So like I used to get very upset and very mad in April. I'm not saying I wasn't upset or cranky the last couple of days, but I'm saying I would be even more upset because of like how bad it gets. But that's just what happens in April. What are the biggest changes from spring to summer markets? Demand. Demand gets cut in half. Guys, Chicago's the most rent-heavy city in the country. Everybody's leases come due end of March, April, May, first part of June. So we're April 20th, guys, which means guess what? If you had a lease come due in March, April, or May, because if it's April 20th and your lease is due, May 20th, it doesn't work anymore. We've just wiped out like a huge portion of the marketplace. Now we're dealing with people whose leases come due in June, July, August, okay? That means that like for that first-time buyer market, that market in that $750,000 price point, I'm not saying there's not ones in $1 million or $1.2 million, but the majority of them, they're already gone. They've already moved on. So demand starts to slip. So all of a sudden, we start off the year with kind of inventory here and demand here, and slowly but surely, we're going to start to see this happen. And July 4th, we hit a balanced market. So that's what we're going to start to see. And it's the same trend we see every year. We've talked about this and how July 4th is when we go to a complete balance. But we're kind of at the beginning of the demand starting to slip. Do you still see new buyers during summer markets? We see new buyers every single day of the week. Every single day of the week, more buyers will come. It's an endless demand, okay? We are in a big city. There's 3+ million people in the downtown proper markets, okay? Like there's always gonna be people coming. I'm just saying there's not going to be as many people. We again can't be dramatic. I could talk about how I've represented the most buyers in the state of Illinois for the last couple of years. I could talk about how many buyers we have, but just because I have a shit ton of buyers, that doesn't mean the market is gonna have a ton of buyers. When we look at the market demand and we look at showings will start to drop in May. I guarantee we don't have as many showings in May as we do in March. Okay, I guarantee we don't have as many showings in August as we did in April. It's just what happens, and that's what's gonna be the biggest difference with buyers from the spring to summer. Are you expecting a busy or slow summer this year? I think we'll be busy because we built a business to always be busy, and we understand where the market's going to go. We start pivoting how we do market campaigns and stuff like that to pick up different clientele. But I can tell you right now, we're going to start hearing people say like, wow, can you believe it slowed down? Did you notice a slowdown? The very first thing that happens when I see another agent, and if we're early, like if I'm early and like the clients aren't there yet, the first thing the agent asks is like, are you busy? Are you busy? I feel like I've slowed down. It's always the same question. I don't even know how to, I honestly, like I almost feel uncomfortable. I don't even know how to answer that question. Like, I don't know. I'm like, we're in real estate. Just same shit happens every day of the week, But like, we're going to start seeing people get slower. And I'm expecting this to be a very slow summer because it's going to be the busiest wedding season of all time. It's going to be the busiest travel season of all time. So when people are going to travel more and you have more weddings and you have more things and Europe is opened up and they want American tourism, guess what that's going to do? That's going to affect the marketplace. So when we talk about markets, we have to look at all aspects of what's actually happening in the world, and it all directly correlates with the real estate market. So when we talk about predictions, it's all about just like thinking about like what's going to happen in human life and how's that going to slow down the marketplace. Our home prices are increasing as much as the news say they are. I mean, not my markets. I work the downtown markets, South Loop up to like, Edgewater area. We do North Center, Logan Square, Lincoln Square, those areas, and then all the way down to, pretty much like Tri-Taylor area. So like in those areas, no, they're not. I mean, our prices aren't up anywhere near what the news happens. Yeah, you're in Florida, Arizona, Texas, sure, you're seeing some freaking crazy growth. Even the suburbs, it's stupid. But in our markets, nope. I would say we're like a slow to moderate growth. 50% of my sales in like the heart of the city, River North, Shreveville, et cetera, sales are down. Sales are shit. Prices are down. So like, yeah, I mean, things are going to change though. Things are going to change big time in those markets. What's happening with rental prices? Up 25%. They're 25% higher than history. So if you guys go back to my 2020 podcast when we talked about how rents were 20% lower than history, I said, just wait, guys. Once we get through this pandemic, we're going to see a huge growth in rental prices. People are coming back to the cities, and they don't believe in buying because of the crime and COVID. So like, you know what, fuck, I'm going to rent for a little bit, okay? And then I'm going to see how things play out, and then I'll buy. And because of what's happened with taxes and inflation, the rental buildings are raising their prices and, 25% higher than there is. What can we expect with inventory? More inventory. The average consumer thinks the best time to list is April and May, okay? So the reality is the best time to list is probably February, March in Chicago. But April and May is when people think to list. A huge listing where the spring market is right after spring break and then after Memorial Day. So watch out for that. And now what you can start seeing is more inventory is going to hit the market. Demand's going to start to slip a little bit, and you're going to start seeing inventory stick more. And you're going to start seeing places that came on, middle of June, okay, and it's going to be sitting there. And that same exact unit came on the market in mid of February and sold 15 bids. And that seller's going to ask that agent, be like, why did my neighbor sell with 15 offers over ask price, and we're below them and haven't had any showings yet? Different market, summer shift. That's what happens. Are buyers starting to get deals again? No. Not at all. I mean, in the heart of the city, you could still negotiate a little bit, but the shift hasn't. We're at the beginning. We could see the shift in the distance. Hasn't happened yet. I'm saying it's coming, and we're putting this summer shift one out earlier, about a month earlier than we did last year, to tell people strap in. You're gonna see a different market, so prepare for it now. But that doesn't mean that deals are gonna start happening today. Are there still multiple bids happening? A large 50% of the market's still almost multiple bids. I mean, you got a duplex down, you got a 3-bedroom house or bigger, something like that. Yeah, you're gonna be in a multiple bid. You got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath high rise in the heart of River North? No, I mean it might sell. It's gonna sell. It's not gonna sell as quick as it did before. How is showing traffic? It's up. Overall, our showings are way up through the roof. This is one of our best showings we've had. Honestly, our business is up 50% year over year. And the reason our business is up 50% year over year is not because of showings. It's because the heart of the city, which is half the market I sell, is moving. People are actually buying down there again. So I remember last year, I was saying, man, we had 100 listings in River North, Cedarville, Gold Coast, and we were maybe getting a few showings a day across all those, which is terrible. Now we're actually selling them, and that's why our business is up. So showings are up big time in the heart of the city as well, which is going to make a big difference. And watch that stat, because at this time next year we should try to save this and say, you're going to start seeing the downtown market be hotter than Lincoln Park and Lakeview. Is there a lot of new construction opportunities right now? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of news. We got a couple new developments coming up. DM us personally for those. Those are going to be like great deals. They're below where they should be priced at. But new construction in the heart of the city is trading for low. New construction in Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Roscoe, those areas, those are trading for very high. Do open houses still have lines on the block? Depends. It depends. I mean, I have open houses that will have 0 people through. We average 0 to 1 people through our open houses in the heart of the city, places above $1 million, things of that nature. Let me back this up, because I know some agents are going to watch this and say, well, I had $1 million plus open house. I had 50 people. You got a single family home above $1 million. Yes, you have a line around the buck. Okay. You got a, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, high-rise condo above $1 million, River North, like you might get 1 person. Okay. So again, the line around the block, let's not be dramatic. Let's talk about like what we're selling, where, why, price point, et cetera. That's all going to make a difference. Why do you think more deals fall apart in April? I said it. Renters posing as buyers. It happens every year. It happens every April. This April, they're gonna blame rates. Next April, who knows what'll be the thing that they blame. But every single year, there's always some sort of scapegoat that they're gonna blame. And this knee-jerk reaction society tells me how the world's gonna end. And then magically, a month later, everybody forgets about it. But this is just what happens in April. Let's see here. How would you rate the city's confidence level right now? If we're on a 10, I'd probably give us like a 6, okay? If this was this time last year, I'd give it a 2, okay? Our masks are off, people are out, etc. People are coming back. Tourism's back. I mean, as much as the media, hates on Michigan Avenue, I mean, I'm seeing people there like in droves. It's borderline annoying because, they don't pay attention when it's a green light or red light. So like, we're sitting, sometimes you gotta wait 2 red lights to get through the street. So, it's definitely coming back. When did the market peak? I think we've peaked. We're like peak right now. So every day from here on out, the market's going to start to slow down a little bit. How will the summer shift look in different parts of the city? So that first-time buyer market, $100,000 to $500,000. That's going to really slow down the most. Okay, 5 to 750 is going to be like a decent slowdown. 750 to $1 million is going to be like okay, and the $1 million plus won't be as affected. Okay, now that's mostly on the outskirts of the city. At the same time, specifically the heart of the city, River North, Cedarville, Gold Coast, Old Town, you'll see that actually pick up a little bit in certain price points. What we see in the summer market in the heart of the city is we see a huge influx of out-of-state buyers, empty nesters, big empty nester market. People wanting to buy that. People buying second homes and investment buyers. So we actually see like a big pickup on that. So if you're in one of those buildings and you're like, well, I'm nervous about the summer shift, I'd be like, I wouldn't be too nervous because, a 2-bed, 2-bath in Lincoln Park is going to be affected a lot more than a 2-bed, 2-bath in like River North. What's the main reason you're losing deals right now? We talked about that. What's the main concerns you have? You're hearing from buyers right now? Rates. People are nervous about rates. People are nervous about pricing. The problem is right now is there's so much disinformation out there. Everybody thinks they're an expert in real estate and they talk to a friend of a friend who bought and they got outbid and they said it's like crazy. And it drives me nuts. In fact, I remember there was a buyer I was talking to who said that their financial advisor told them not to buy. I said, well, where are you buying? They said, oh, I'm buying in River North. I said, well, in River North right now, our prices have been pretty much down for 3 years. Why is your financial advisor telling you not to buy? And he said, well, my financial advisor is based out of Florida and says that these prices have been skyrocketing over the last 3 years. And at some parts of their cities are up over 100%. I said, well, that's Florida. You know, what's happening in Florida, guys, just so you guys know what's happening in Naples and Miami and all these areas, is not the same as what's happening in River North or Lincoln Park. So don't come to me and tell me that like your buddy who lives in Naples is telling you not to buy in downtown Chicago, okay? That's like me commenting on like what's happening in like international politics of like, you know, like China's like currency, okay? I have no freaking clue what it's about. I mean, just because I read a Wall Street Journal article doesn't mean I can spit facts of where the future is going to go with it. You know, just listen to the experts. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, what we're seeing with people when they talk about the market is that they don't know what they're talking about. And that's to me, concerns that buyers bring up that, you know, professionals like myself have to help them alleviate so they can understand what's actually happening in the marketplace. Will inflation and rates impact the summer market this year? Sure, of course. I mean, I think long-term rates will have absolutely zero. In fact, I will say that rates will have a negative effect on the marketplace. I realize people right here are going to be like, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. One of our guys yesterday at the meeting's like, if everybody's talking about rates, doesn't affect the market. Short term, yeah, for the next 3 to 6 weeks, it's going to affect the marketplace. But long-term, guys, rates are here. This is it. This is where they're going to be. And let me tell you something why I know I'm going to be right, why rates have no effect in the marketplace. Here's a great stat for you guys. 2005 and 2006 were just as good, if not better markets than it is today, okay? Guess what? Rates were like 6.5% then, and people still bought houses. So rates are hovering around like, I could get you a 3.5-year ARM, okay? Or 3.5% ARM today, okay? So if you're telling me people highest market of all time is at 6.5%. Today, I could get you a 3.5% rate, and the rates are going to crash the marketplace. Get your head out of the sand. Rates were 18% in 1981, and people are still buying real estate. So a rate of 5%, which is still a very low rate, okay, is not going to have an effect on the marketplace long term. Short term, yes. Whenever you go from a change, whenever the weather changes, whenever anything changes, people kind of freak out short term. Long term, zero effect on the marketplace. It actually annoys me when people bring it up because it's like, don't tell me what's going to happen with something when you have literally zero experience of how it's happened. Just because your buddy who just got his real estate license 4 months ago told you that he read an article that somebody wrote that's also an idiot, never practiced real estate, is going to tell you what's going to happen in the future of the marketplace. Doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. You guys want to know how rates are going to impact the market? Study it. Take a look at what's happened in the history. Go back to the 50s of rates going up and down and how many sales it's had each year, what the supply was like, what the demand was like, what prices were like, how prices ended that year, and then come talk to me after you do maybe 2-3 year study on it, because I've been watching the market since I was a little kid. And that's the biggest problem that we see with people talking about these rates and inflation. But of course, because summer is short term away, it's going to affect the market a little place. Are a lot of pre-market sales happen in Chicago? Yeah, we'll start seeing a lot of stuff sell before it hits the market. Pre-market sales have always been big. How do you feel like your team handled busy season this year? I mean, we crushed it. We crushed busy season. I mean, we're up 50%, as we said. Our sales are way up. As of at the end of the first quarter, we ranked number one for number of transactions for buyers, number one for transactions for sellers, number one for total transactions, and number one for dollars sold. So that's the 4 main categories that we sat number one in. So I could literally say that we absolutely demolished busy season. The reason we demolished busy season is because I prepared knowing that I said, listen, first quarter is going to be freaking batshit crazy. So we're going to need another agent, which we got, and we're going to need another assistant to help. And we got them both. We got them in here, and we took advantage of Q1, knowing of where our business was going to go. So if you want to take advantage of something, you need to see the future and then alter your business model so that you can, reap the benefits from it. What trends are you seeing with people heading back to offices? I mean, we're still low in offices. I mean, 640,000 people used to go to the Loop. I think we're hovering around like 125,000 today. So we're not seeing that many, but I am getting, most of my buyers in the last month have been people getting relocated for work. Just wait, that's going to really heat up. As that heats up, that's when the downtown market's going to be completely come back. Are certain types of properties flying off the market before they hit the MLS? Things under 500,000. Those are your main ones in like Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Wicker Park, Bucktown. Let me put it this way, under 750. You got a nice duplex down, that'll happen too, or a single family home. What's the situation with rates? We beat that to a dead horse. What advice are you giving your team to navigate the summer shift? Take advantage, stock up on buyers. Tell buyers, we have a lot of buyers that are super frustrated right now that they don't have much inventory, but they have a long time frame. Like, listen, if you don't have to buy till August, like just relax. Like, just relax. This isn't the end of the world, guys. This happens every year. There's never enough inventory. January, February, March, April, you start to see it. May, it comes on. June, it sticks. Just watch. That's what we tell. That's what I tell my team. I said, just tell your buyers, don't be dramatic, settle down, we'll be fine. We're also telling our sellers, like, hey, listen, you got a good offer, you take it. Because I'll tell you right now, you're not getting this price in June, okay? I'm setting expectations. And I put that in writing. So when June hits and people are like, well, this happened and nobody told me and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, here's everything I said. I said this every single week for the last 8 weeks that this was going to happen, okay? And then when it happens, people are like, nobody told me it happened. I'm like, here's the proof. So our team right now is prepping our clients to understand that this shift is going to happen. You're a buyer, inventory is coming. You're a seller, try to get rid of it before that shift starts. How do buyers change from spring to summer? They get more difficult. Summer buyers start to get a little bit more difficult, and fall buyers are the worst. Okay, so every fall buyer tells me the world's going to end every single time. It's going to be a different market. 2023 is going to be a recession. The world's going to end. We're all going to be, eating ramen noodles and living on the streets and caves and blah blah blah. So like summer markets start to get a little bit more dramatic than spring buyers, but it is what it is. Are you seeing a lot of relocations or international activity? I literally have had 7 people from China reach out this week. 4 from India and a bunch from the Middle East. I got to check. I think it's like 2 or 3 from the Middle East. All getting relocated for work internationally. That market's going to start picking up big time. Big time. And guess what, guys? When inflation rises, real estate does really well. Do you want to know why? Because it protects your money. You're putting your money into a hard asset. You're going to really see that international market pick up in big cities. What's the biggest thing holding back buyers right now? We talked about that. What are you hearing from your sellers right now? I mean, most of my sellers are pretty happy. The other half of my sellers hate my guts because their place hasn't sold and they live in a high rise or something like that. So it's kind of like a pretty dramatic swing of which way they feel. It depends on where they're at in the city and what type of property they have. Is the suburb market shifting too? I mean, honestly, we don't do the suburbs that much, so I don't want to comment on it like I'm an expert. I can tell you that we have a few buyers that are going out there that still say it's nuts. I have talked to some agents out there and they said that it's still crazy, not as crazy as it was. That's what I keep hearing, is it's not as crazy as it was. So it means it's still freaking nuts, just not as nuts. I think you're gonna start. I think the rates are gonna drastically affect the suburb market. I think that's gonna have a big impact. Well, not big impact on here, but suburbs, you're gonna start seeing that kind of happen a little bit more. Best advice for sellers looking to get on the market ASAP: just get it on. Get it up now. Get it up yesterday. Get moving on it, because the price you're gonna get is not going to be the same as if it's in August, okay? Now, again, it depends on where you're at. You're in a high rise in the city, it might be better because more people are going to be down here. But, depending on where you're at, you got a single family home. There's, like 5 homes in Lincoln Park right now. Like, you got a better opportunity if you go on now. Best advice for buyers as we head into the summer shift: if you're freaking out about inventory, don't freak out. Get an extra month on your lease. If you're freaking out about rates, get an ARM. The reality is that this stuff's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. The cycle is not going to change. Just kind of relax. That's all we got for the summer shift, guys. Pay attention to it. You got questions on where you think things are going to head or how it's going to affect your exact place of what you're looking to buy or sell in, reach out to us. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live.